sur ces sujets de forme suivante.
Okay. So on the same subject, Sarah, in 1986, also asserted the following.
Il dit le suivant. À partir du Xe siècle, Kilwa, sur le littoral de l'océan Indien, justement à l'est de l'extrême nord du lac Nyassa, s'est transformé en grand centre de développement du commerce et d'irradiation de la culture islamique dans toute la région. Jusque-là, le monopole du commerce, particulièrement de l'or de Sofala, était assuré pour Mogadiscio.
At the beginning from the 12th century, Kilwa on the coast, the Indian Ocean coast, exactly south of the extreme north of Nyasa Lake, there was established a great development center for the trade, and also the spread, the emergence, and the flourishment of the Islamic culture throughout the whole region. And until then, the trade monopoly, namely that of gold, the gold from Sofala, was actually in the hands of Mogadishu. That's page 12 and 13.
Concession, il nous dit aussi sa contribution sur Kilwa. Quand il dit que Kilwa était aussi visité pour Ibn Battuta pendant les Moyen Âge, probablement à 1301 ou 1329. Selon lui, dans son ouvrage, Ibn Battuta décrit cette ville étant de la façon suivante.
According to Kanshishao, 1993, Kilwa had also been visited by Ibn Battuta during the Middle Ages, most probably between 1331 or 1329. So it's not quite clear. According to this author, and in his book, Ibn Battuta, 1979, described this city-state in the following terms.
Kilwa, c'était une grande ville. Kilwa, c'était une grande ville située sous le littoral et dont les habitants sont pour la plupart des anges d'un teint extrêmement noir. Colonne est un nombre de villes de plus belles et mieux construites. Elle est entièrement bâtie en bois. La toiture de ces maisons est en 10 sortes de joncs en pelo tenace et pays contigu à celui anges infidèles. Les qualités dominantes sont la piété et la dévotion, et ils professent la doctrine chafique. Lorsque j'entrais dans cette ville, elle avait pour sultan Abu Imouzefer Hassan, surnommé également Abu Imenoabib, à cause de la multitude de son don méwabique et de ses actes de générosité. Il faisait de fréquentes incursions dans le pays des anges, les attaquait et les élevait du boutin. On dit prélever la 5e partie qui dépensait de la manière fixée dans la Coran. Cette sultan extrêmement humble, il s'assied et mangeait avec les fakirs. Il vénérait les hommes pieux et nobles. Pardon la mauvaise lecture là.
Non, il n'y a pas de problème. Je vais juste résumer. Let me just give you an idea, a synopsis of this long citation. It's actually the description of the city-state, okay, which Ibn Battuta did. He did that description. He said it's a large city on the coast, and the people, for the most part, were the Zendis, and they were very dark, very dark people, black, jet black, in terms of the tone of the color of their skin. And Kelowna was one of those cities that were the most beautiful and well constructed. So talk about the architecture and also talk about the materials used in the construction work. Also talk about the culture, the religion, which was basically Arab culture and Islamic religion, and mentioned the role that the Sultan Abu Imzohafer Hassan, who was actually nicknamed Abu Wahib, etc. But he was actually extremely humble. It was somebody who would just sit with the common people, and he actually respected human beings, those who were pious, who were devoted to the religion, and those were also considered noble people. Yeah.
Merci. Finalement, sur ces sujets, on va voir aussi l'opinion de Massoud, qui a fait référence à...
Finally, we will take Massoud's 1962's opinion into consideration.
Il fait référence à quelques produits qui interviennent dans le commerce du territoire des Anges, tandis les suivants.
He also referred to the products, that were at the center of the trade inside the territory, the Zange territory, and he said this in the following way.
On exporte aussi le safran et la racine de gingembre. Les 5 parfums principaux, le musc, le cambre, la galoche, l'ambre et la safran, viennent tous de l'Inde et des contrées limitrophes, sauf safran qui l'ambre qui se trouve aussi chez les Anges, à Chire et en Espagne.
Basically, is referred to the products that were traded that was part of the trade, referring to ginger, to refer to saffron, that were coming, all of them coming from India and the neighboring places. Okay, and the same products that could be found also among with the Zange at Sicily and in Spain. And he described all of this in this chapter 16, on page 148, and also on page 407.
C'est nécessaire aussi dans ce thème voir un peu l'importance que l'océan Indien avait été dans l'établissement des Arabes à la côte orientale de l'Afrique.
It's also important to know the role that the Indian Ocean played in the settlement of the Arab on this part of Africa.
À cet sujet, Ibn Battuta, il affirmait le suivant.
On the subject, Ibn Battuta stated,
avec la présence arabe et perse, Cette région de l'Afrique est depuis environ 10 siècles liée à un ample réseau de commerce à travers l'océan Indien avec l'Arabie, l'Inde, le sud-est asiatique et l'Océanie. Ce réseau s'est rapidement élargi vers l'Europe depuis la fin du XVIe siècle et vers l'Amérique à partir du XIXe siècle.
Okay. You see, because of the Persian and Arab presence, this region of Africa has since then, since about 10 centuries, been connected to, associated with a very broad trade network throughout the Indian Ocean with Arabia, India, the southeast of Asia, and the Oceania. And this network quickly expanded towards Europe since the end of the 16th century, and also went all the way to the Americas from the 19th century, page 191, 92, and 93.
Pour expliquer l'importance de l'océan Indique dans cette dynamique commerciale, Sharif a dit le suivant.
To explain the importance of the Ocean Indian in the context of this trade, the author said the following.
Il a dit que l'océan Indien a joué un rôle très important en raison de son accessibilité depuis la terre et depuis les mers. Depuis la mer.
He said that the ancient ocean played an important role of things which is the main reason. Its accessibility is very accessible, not only from the land, but also from the sea.
Yeah. Sharif explique que cette accessibilité maritime a été rendue possible par le développement d'une technologie maritime appropriée et la maîtrise des vents et des courants de l'océan Indien. La plus importante caractéristique géographique de l'océan Indien est le renversement saisonnière des vents de mousson.
Sharif also asserted that this accessibility was made possible by the development of sea or marine technology that was appropriate and helped actually control the winds and all the winds and the currents of the Indian Ocean. And the most important characteristic, the geographic characteristic of the Indian Ocean is its ability to actually beat all those turmoil or weather turmoil due to winds and whatever you name it.
C'est Luis Domingos qui fait une explication brève sur les vents de mousson quand il affirme le suivant.
And it was Luis Domingo who gave some more explanation on this phenomenon about the monsoon winds in the following terms.
Ces échanges étaient favorisés par un phénomène naturel qui est le régime du vent de mousson qui alterna de novembre à mars dans le sens nord-est, sud-ouest, et de juin à octobre, dans le sens inverse, rendant aisé pour les voyageurs de voyage annuels d'aller et de retour.
He said that these exchanges were actually made possible by a natural phenomenon, which is actually this monsoon winds, the cycle alternating, from November to March, and in the direction of northeast and southwest, and from June to October in the opposite direction. And that made the sailors travel voyage easy annually, the back and forth.
Domingos, il a expliqué aussi un autre facteur important sur la dynamique commerciale et l'établissement des Arabes à la côte d'Océan Indien, quand il dit le suivant.
And then Domingo Thomas also give his opinion, saying that there's another, shall I translate that directly now? Another ocean-related factor that contributed to the intensity of the trade on the east coast of Africa from the 7th century was actually the arrival and the settlement of immigrants that were of Arab origin, namely the Sunni and the Shia, who were actually expelled from Baghdad, and or those who were actually persecuted from somewhere else in this part of the African continent.
Merci. Sur ce sujet encore, Domingos nous donne les suggestions suivantes.
On the same subject, Luis Domingo also made the following suggestion.
À partir du 7e siècle, un autre phénomène d'ordre humain devait favoriser les relations, l'établissement sur la côte orientale de l'Afrique d'immigrants d'origine arabe et personnes qui, pour les motifs de décision religieux, ont quitté leur pays. Ils ont fondé une section de cités qui s'étendait de Mogadiscio et Somalie jusqu'à Sofala, la région de la vallée du Zambèze, le point extrême de l'action de mention. Et ils ont débouché sur les mines d'or du Mutapa. Ces cités sont devenues plus importantes au fur et à mesure de l'arrivée de nouveaux immigrants et de l'intégration d'éléments autochtones. Et elles ont développé leurs relations commerciales.
So Luis Domingo suggested that from the 7th century, there was also another human phenomenon that actually favor the relationships. And that human phenomenon was the settlement on the East Coast of immigrants of Arab origin, and also other people who, for some reasons, the reason because they dissented from their, home religion, so due to that, have left their own country, and they have actually created a series of cities that actually can be seen and can be listed from Mogadishu to Somalia, up all the way to Sofala in the valley of the Zambezi region. And that is the extreme point of action of the monsoon winds. And they've also culminated in the gold mine of Monomotapa. And those cities became the most important ones, gradually became the most important one as the arrival, or as more and more immigrants arrived and got integrated and mixed up with the indigenous people, and they have actually developed their own trade relationship.
Par rapport au principal motif de migration des Arabes, ils percent jusqu'à l'Afrique orientale. Ernest Jardin Villeneuve, c'est un autre portugais qui avait fait les études sur ces sujets, et Jorge Dias aussi, sont d'opinion qu'ils étaient de nature religieuse et politique. Pour témoigner cette situation, Carlos Serra, il a dit le suivant.
Okay. It was our Ernesto Jardín de Vilhena and Jorge Diaz-Ano, they both agreed on the motivation, the reasons for the actually the presence of the Arabs and the Persian settlers on the east coast of Africa. And they said that according to them, these religions were mostly religious and political. And on the same subject, Carlos, 1986, Sarah Carlos, Carlos, 1986, also is an agreement that the religious conflicts, he said this about the religious conflicts. Yes.
Carlos dit le suivant. Ces conflits ont obligé les Arabes d'Oman à laisser leurs terres pour se fixer sur la côte orientale de l'Afrique au 7e siècle après Jésus-Christ. Initialement, les Arabes étant peu nombreux, ils sont établis dans les zones les plus protégées de la côte, entre Mogadiscio, dans le Somalie, et Sofala, au Mozambique.
Those conflicts actually forced the Arabs from Oman to leave their lands and go settle on the east coast of Africa in the 7th century after Jesus Christ. And initially, at the very beginning, the Arabs were very few, not many, to have established, to have settled in those regions that were the most protected, the most shielded, on the east, on the coast between Mogadishu in Somalia and Sofala in Mozambique, on page 11.
Al-Massoud a fait aussi quelques références sur les produits qui intervenaient dans le commerce du territoire des Indes de la façon suivante.
Masudi also make these remarks regarding the products that were part of the trade in the territory of the Zanj, and he said this.
On exporte aussi les safrans et les racines de gingembre. Les 5 parfums principaux, c'est le musc, le cambre, la galoche, l'ambre et le safran viennent tous de l'Inde et des contrées limitrophes, sauf safran et l'ambre qui se trouvent aussi chez les Anges à Chir et en Espagne. C'est une répétition aussi, pardon pour cela.
Yeah. It's also a repetition of a previous citation referring to the products, the perfumes, ginger, saffron is coming from India, and also some of those same products that could be found in Spain and among the Zengi.
Merci. Pour parler sur le territoire des Anges, Massoud a nous donné sa contribution de la façon suivante.
Talking about the boundaries of the Zengi territory, Massoudi said this.
L'habitat des Indes commence au canal dérivé du Alt Nil et se prolonge jusqu'au pays de Sofala et d'Al-Wakwa. Leur établissement s'étend sans interruption sur un parcours d'environ 700 parasanges et long et large dans un pays coupé de vallées avec des montagnes et des déserts de sable.
Well, there's just a description of the boundaries, saying that the habitat of the Zengi begins from the canal, from the upper Nile, and that goes all the way through countries, the countries of Sofala and Al-Wakwak. And there are actually settlement extended without interruption on a long route, at the length of which is using something I cannot actually translate, 700, I don't know, whatever it is, long and wide in the terms of the width of it. And in a country that was actually that comprises of valleys and mountains and deserts and sand. So it's the geographic description of the boundaries of the Zengi territory.
Finalement, on va écouter aussi l'étude qu'Ibn Battuta avait faite sur les gens.
Also, we will be interested in studying what Ibn Battuta had to say in 1979 on the people, the Zengi.
Je m'embarquais sous la mer dans la ville de Macachao, me dirigeais vers les pays Swahili, les rivages, et la ville de Kilwa, dans le pays des Anges. Nous arrivons à Mombasa, grande île, à une distance de 2 journées de navigation de la terre des Swahili. Nous passâmes une nuit dans cette île, après quoi nous reprîmes la mer pour nous rendre à Colonne, grande ville située le littoral et dont les habitants sont pour la plupart des gens d'un teint extrêmement noir. Ils ont à la figure d'incision semblable à celle qu'ont les limines de Djenadan. Design sans doute les Swahili.
So Ibn Battuta actually gave this narrative. He said, I embarked on the sea to go to the city of Magdachao. No, I embarked upon the sea in the city of Magdachao, and going towards the country of Swahili, the shores. and the city of Kilwa in the country of the Zanges. We arrived at Mombasa, which is a big island, and from a distance, a 2-day sailing, by boat, by ship, of course, we're to Swahili. We spent a night on that island, and after that we continued the journey on the sea voyage to go to Kelowna, which is a big city, the big town, okay, on the coast, and whose inhabitants for the most part were Zanges. They were extremely dark black people. And they also have marks on their faces, and those marks were similar to those of the Limings of Janeda, and this actually refers to the Swahili. Page 191, 92.
Merci beaucoup, je m'arrête là.
Thank you so much. I would like to pause at this point.
Thank you very much, Mr. Raimundo, for this presentation, and Mr. Balubi for the translation.